to Lead Millions podcast with visibility coach Krystal Henry. Discover our guest strategies and delve into their journeys to limitless success and inspiration. Let's enter the Made to Lead Millions zone. Extraordinaires, you have made it to Made to Lead Millions. You've entered the zone where success collides with just plain old me. I am your coach with the most information, and you are going to love this podcast tonight. So get close in, grab a friend, because it's going to be good. Thank you again for joining, and make sure you meet me here every Thursday night so that you can be a part of Positive Power 21 Media and the Made to Lead Millions podcast. Well, I just want to tell you tonight, again, thank you for joining me. You know, I am an 8-time Amazon bestselling author right now. Just got another bestseller. Whoop, whoop. And I'm a podcaster, I'm an evangelist, and I'm your visibility coach, making it possible for you to be seen all over social media and in person well. And if you need information on it, go to krystalhenry.net. And you know that's Krystal with a K, krystalhenry.net. What are we doing tonight? We're going to pray. I'm going to give you some more announcements, and then we're going to dive in and get an amazing conversation with our amazing guest tonight. So let's pray. Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, we just thank you and we praise you, Father, because you are a good Father and a great God. We thank you that no goodness will you withhold from those of us who walk upright. We thank you that favor rests upon us because we're in your life. We thank you that you are doing great and mighty things. And we thank you for blessing us with everything you've given us thus far. And we are anticipating the testimonies that you will continue to be putting in our mouths. So, Father, have your way on tonight. And I just ask you to do it all in Jesus' mighty name. Amen and amen again. Hey, y'all, I got some great news. We got a book release coming up in July in Kansas City, Kansas. So if you are in or around anywhere in Kansas City, Kansas, I need you to get there with me. And we're going to be releasing an amazing book, Voices of Women Unleashed in Justice. This book is phenomenal. The visionary of this anthology is none other than Dr. Evelyn Hill, and you will be hearing next month from some of the amazing authors that are in this powerful book. Right now, we have approximately 22 authors, and they're talking about all different kinds of ways that they have overcome the injustices with police, judges, anything dealing with the judicial system, anything dealing with systematic system that we have been oppressed in. So make sure you hang out and look out for Voices of Women Unleashed in Justice. That book is going to be amazing, and we need your help to make it a bestseller. We need your help to join us as we begin to spread the word and get the word out. And so please make sure you keep your big ear right here on the Made to Lead Millions podcast. Another thing that we're doing in the month of July, if you are looking for a mentorship membership, then look no further. Go to krystalhenry.net and become an emerger. What? Become an 11th hour emerger. Have you been waiting for God to do something amazing in your life? Well, if you have, you need to join this mentorship membership. It will push you, catapult you, snatch what you keep saying is not you right on out of you. who you should be and what you should be doing. You are skillfully, fearfully, and wonderfully made, and you don't need to be in the shadows. It's time for you to come to the forefront, and you can do that with this mentorship membership. We meet the 11th of every month, and it is a phenomenal, powerful word that will propel you, that will shock you, that will stop you from being stunt or stuck to moving and propelling forward. So make sure you check that out at krystalhenry.net. Go to the homepage and click on the flyer, the emergers. It's time for you to emerge into the forefront. This month's word was upscale. So if you're ready to upscale, hey, all the teaching that we've been going through is still in our private group on Facebook. So make sure you join this group. We are looking forward to meeting new members. So with that being said, are you ready? I don't think you're ready. Are you ready for me to tell you a little bit about tonight's guest? Well, I need you to get ready. Make sure you lean in, because tonight we have a veteran, we have an author and a writer that is from Miami, Florida. The sunny side of Miami, Florida. She has published 5 books, and we're going to hear all about her amazing books, but she's got one that will be released July 1st. So make sure that you get her information on tonight and that you prepare to hear her story. So not only is she from Miami, not only does she have 5 books, but she's 24 years old. And God has preserved her, has brought her through many things. And we'll be talking about that on tonight. Now, she might be young, but she wrote her first book at 19. She joined the Army, and she is phenomenal and amazing. So I need you to put your hands together and get excited with me about none other than the author of the hour, Mahogany Clark. Woo! Hey, sis.
Hey, how you doing?
Great to have you. I'm so excited that you are here. Me having 13 books that I've written or co-authored in, so I'm excited every time I talk to a fellow author. So thank you for coming. Thank you for being on the Made to Lead Millions podcast.
Oh, yes, thank you. I've been here. This will be my third time. So
okay.
I'm basically at home. So
Good. Well,
yeah.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. So let's learn a little bit more about you. Were you born and raised in Miami?
Yes, but I did move around as a child. We did move to different parts of Florida. We also moved to Georgia. We moved around a lot. So I didn't really get stabilized till high school.
Okay.
And that's when I stayed in the same space for 4 years. So before that, I did move around a lot. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's excellent. And there's nothing like the beautiful weather of Florida and even, Georgia. Those are some beautiful places to live. Very, very, very beautiful. So that's so exciting. Say that again.
I said we were in the country parts though, like Valdosta and Madison and those places.
Okay, but you know what?
Yeah.
There's nothing like country living. So you definitely lived if you lived in the country.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get in the Army? What drew you to join the Army?
Well, I took the ASVAB in high school, and I forgot that I had taken it. Like, they told us, they didn't necessarily tell us the name. They just told us that everybody has to take this test because just in case they want to join the military. That's all they said. And I did take it, but I ended up taking it twice. But a recruiter called me down from class one day. I was in class, and they called me over the intercom. And I came down. I was confused at first because, I don't get in trouble. So I was like,
right.
What was this about? So I came down, and that's when I met the recruiter. And then, and went from there pretty much. I actually told myself I would never join the military. So it was kind of funny. But yeah.
Well, that is excellent. That is a huge step to join the military. That is for a female to join the military. How long were you in the Army?
I did 5 years.
Okay, 5 years. That is strong. And so name 3 things that you really got from being in the Army that helped produce or push you to a whole nother level?
Yes. So believe it or not, the military, I'd say, is good for anybody to at least experience, not anyone, but people that at least have the basic discipline, to experience at least once in their life, and they don't know what they want to do with their life. I'll put it that way. It does help you figure out what you want to do quite quickly because, you're following orders. That's what that's what you're there for, and that's what you're needed. That's your service. So once you figure out, okay, do I really just want to live my life, just either I'm just following orders. Not saying like that's all you do, of course. I mean, you do service in other ways, but it helps you figure out, okay, do I have anything else that I can give to the world, or do I just love the military, or can I give in other spaces? Is there something else about myself that I can give, or is there something else about myself that I can grow, or you know what I mean? Or how can I make myself better for people around me, for me? Things like that. So it helps you in that way. You do meet people, you build bonds and you build connections. So it's good. It's very good for that as well. You build lifetime connections too. People from different places that you never thought you'd have a connection with. So it's really cool. Yeah. And of course the traveling. People who like to move around a lot. I don't, because, growing up that's probably why I like to be stabilized and in one place for a long period of time, but some people actually like that aspect of being able to experience different parts of the world, while being able to work just too as well. So it's also good for that too. Yeah. Excellent.
Purpose, travel, and meeting people. That is excellent. Sometimes it's hard if you're an introvert to, get out and meet people, but I'm sure. That's true. Yeah, I'm sure being in the military, you've got to.
Yeah, you got to come out the shell a little somehow.
Right. I love that. And so one last question about the military. What was the hardest thing for you?
The hardest thing for me, believe it or not, anytime somebody asks me this, really, it was the people. Because I was always naturally disciplined as far as being where I needed to be, doing what I needed to do, because growing up I did that anyway, because nobody else was going to do it for me. So, of course I had no choice but to do it myself. So once I got there, it was more like day and night as far as like that aspect. But I ran into a lot of issues with the leadership, I would say. As far as the treatment that I received from them, and it just made the job, or it just made me not really want to pursue the career, full time. I never wanted to anyway, but then it really put the stamp in, okay. I got to move on for because there's no growth there. You know what I mean? So,
right. I truly know what you mean. Yeah. My first. Signature book is called Made to Lead Millions, and that book deals with the leadership that I had to deal with, and terrible leaders will make you want to quit. They do. They make you want to move around. They make you want to quit, and some other stuff. But a lot of times people don't. When they quit, they're not quitting the company or the corporation, but they're quitting because of the leadership. And so
the people make up the job.
Yeah. So great answer. And people need to know, what would I come up against, if I joined the military. So I love that. I love the fact that you are a veteran, and I love the fact that you began moving in your purpose. So let's talk about the first book that you wrote. When you were 19, Self-Love. What kind of space were you in to write that?
Yes. Actually, I was in a more sad space. A lot of my books, well, about three of them, I was in a more unhappy space. And the books, me writing them is, helped me. It was more therapeutic to me because I would write naturally anyway, and then I would sometimes post my writings and things like that, and people could relate to it. So I ended up putting it in a book when I was purpose searching, believe it or not, and then I looked at something that I always reverted to when I was in my hard times, and it was writing. So I was like, I do have a thing for this, and it does genuinely make me happy, and I genuinely do love the process of the writing. Like, I love the process of putting the book together, promoting it, getting it out there, and just writing down and basically, feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulders, because it just gave me a voice with being able to, I guess, tell my story and being able to tell about myself. I never was really afraid to, but, back in the day because I come from the old school parents, so you don't have, it's not much that we can say as kids, you're a child, so that was what it was, and that was what I had to abide by. So once I got out of that, I was able to have my own voice, so it gave me, purpose, it gave me happiness, it gave me something that I can see for myself and look back on too as well, and for other people to see and relate to, and see that, okay, I didn't stay in the same place even though I went through this. That's how the first book came about, Self-Love.
Okay, and it's poetry, right?
Yep. I was doing poetry and like spoken word kind of thing. I did like videos, and I've done one recently, but I haven't done too many of them. But I did like do that like kind of thing.
Okay, and so when you are writing poetry, and how do you find your pieces or develop your pieces? But besides just what you're going through? It's from what I was going through, like different scenarios. Like if I may have felt a way about something, and which is love is a big thing for me. So because I have like 3 books now that's based off or has something to do surrounding love. So love has been a big thing as far as a big part of what I felt like I needed or what I felt like I was lacking, and that's where all of it, most of those in there, that's where it comes from. And then going through different experiences with different people I've met or people that I've gotten close to, and if maybe it was some terrible experiences, not maybe, but it was some, and then I had to grow through them, and that's where those words come from. Okay. Now, because I know you have 5, so what's your second book?
Oh, yeah, the second one is my Couple Family Tea book, Couple Family Tea. It was the book I talk about my childhood, and then I talk about basically how I went from my childhood to being in the Army. That's what that book covers. So I do go more into some things that I went through growing up, and basically to how I came through those things, and I joined the military to basically better my life.
Okay. All right. Love it. And then what about the 4 ways to market your book, product, and services?
Yes, that book is the one that I did. That was my third one. My third one, that wasn't my third one. That was my fourth one. I'm sorry. The third one was my children's book. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
I almost mixed it up myself. I was like, wait. But I did. That was the fourth one I did. It was just the ebook at first. I kept trying to get the paperback to upload, but for some reason around the time, it went through finally. But so it's more like a guide. But finally, it went through recently, maybe about 6 months ago. But when I first tried to upload it, this is the first book I did on my own. So that's where that came from. I talk about how I. So not to cut you off, sorry, but I talk about how I did.
You're good.
Like the interview, how I reached out to people through social media, try to collab with them and get on their platform so that I can speak. And I actually put the people that I went through. Some of the the platforms that I've been on. I think I put Jerry Rice on there as well too. I think so. At the time, I had been on there, and I basically talk about how I marketed my product, my books, and also how you can really revert this to other products. It doesn't have to just be books,
Right?
Because people talk about different things, or people talk about popular things. Everybody finds their different niches. And that's where that book comes from. So
okay, I love it because sometimes we don't know what we can do until we do it, and helping other people get their message out is another thing that I do because I'm a visibility coach. So it's hard, to try to figure out, well, how do I get my message out? How do I get on other platforms? How do I, write this? Is it that hard to self-publish? Should I self-publish or should I, get a publisher? So all of those things a lot of people have when they're trying to decide to write or start a business, like you said, or sell T-shirts or whatever it is. Their marketing has to be a part of it all. So I love the fact that you are getting the word out to help other people. So that's great.
Yeah.
So, and you said you have a children's book?
Yep. It's called Somebody Always Loves You. That was my third one.
Okay.
I did that one. I was actually happy when I wrote that one, that's why that one was that's my favorite book. Because I was in a happy space and it's really colorful and it has pictures in it. So it sounds kid-like, but like the inner child in me really likes the book. So. Right. I love that. Did you do the drawing or did you get someone to draw for you? Yep. So the publishing company that I started with, I didn't publish through them per se, but they helped me self-publish. So I've always self-published, but I started out with a company, a local company that's here in North Carolina. And they helped me with uploading my book to different, sites, the manuscript, the interior, what the outside's supposed to look like. And they also put the book together for me. So the company that I was started with is who actually brought the book to life. They brought my words to life. Yeah.
That's an excellent collaboration. And I always recommend people, if you can collaborate, do so. So that's excellent that they helped you through your process because it's a great process. If you're 24 and you're already at 5 books, don't stop. Keep going. I think of John Eckhart. I don't know if you know the Pastor John Eckhart, but I remember thinking, wow, he's got 40 books. And that was probably maybe 10 years ago. And he writes books all the time, 5 and 10 at a time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. He has one, I think, released quarterly, monthly, or at some point, at one point, yeah, he did.
So keep going. Don't stop writing.
Well, right. I won't.
And so now you've got another release coming out in July 1st. Now, what is this book about? Let's get our extraordinaires that are listening right now, get their mouth watering.
Yes, so this book that is releasing July 1st has similar title to my first one, Self-Love, but it's called Self-Love Now. So I basically go into, it is sort of like a revamped version of my first book, but it's not a series but they are connected in a way. So, one is when I was 19 and this one is at 24. So I'm basically explaining what self-love is to me now. And I take it all the way back to the thoughts that I was having when I wasn't loving myself to the thoughts that I have now. And this book is actually a quote book. So it's, poetry, words, they kind of all connect together. But this one's more of a quote book, kind of like Rupai Kaur, Milk and Honey. It's kind of like that type of book. But it's my own words, of course. But I just put it together, and I was like, yeah, this fits because this, self-love. It's more like what self-love is to me now, and then also the fact that, okay, I do, to let people know how I came to love myself. Like the thoughts that I had, like I had thoughts, of course, where I didn't, or I had times where I didn't love myself. So like, just to show people that it's not, when you really go through this journey, it's not pretty. It's not like it's something that's like, it works tomorrow, or, tomorrow you feel good and everything is great and you always feel good and you just don't feel like you starting over again. But, you start over and you get to the top. Sometimes you fall from the top and you start back over again and get back to the top. So, yeah, that's what this book is.
I can totally relate to you, because I wanted to ask you, what jarred you to make you say, wait a minute, I need to love myself? How do you know that you wasn't loving yourself enough?
Yes. I knew that based off the people that I allowed into my life and the people that I allowed myself to pour into and continue to pour into, even though I was not receiving or, getting back what I was given. So once it like trickled over into not just relationship wise, but it also trickled into my friendships, and just the people that I would flock to in general. And I started to really think, okay, does it have something to do with the way I was raised and stuff, which I'm pretty sure it does, because, the way you were raised has a lot to do with how you are or who you become anyway. And it was just really a lot of having to undo the flaws or the things that was wrong with myself, looking myself in the mirror, seeing what I could have done better instead of putting the blame on the people or on the person, because I was doing a lot of that. So once you like get past that, it's like, okay, well, at some point, the common denominator has to work this stuff out. So that's how I knew, okay, it's time for a change. It's time for something different.
Well, that's excellent, because, a lot of people do not self-search. They don't self-search, so they can't get to the point where they even look in the mirror to say, hey, I need to stop what I'm doing, stop hanging around these people or these type of people, these type of friends. And so for you to do that and then be able to write a book, there are so many people out there that need it. Need a guide. So thank you for writing the book. Another question I wanted to ask you about self-love, because right now I'm in a place where I'm getting a divorce, and after 27 years, so now I'm having to completely start everything over. And
right.
That's hard. And
that is hard.
Yeah, in the midst of getting a divorce, you're dealing with rejection. So is there a way that a technique that you use to help to get past rejection?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I never got that question. That is a good question. Yes. So, yeah, because I face rejection. People might not think so, because they look at the outside and they're like, oh, there's no way. Or naturally, when you're a woman now, people automatically assume, oh, yeah, everybody's just after her. Like, so, like, that's kind of, when you are a certain type of woman, a certain type of person, and the way that you carry yourself or the way that you do things, it makes it a lot harder than people think. So, yeah, so the way that I deal with it is, I started to really realize, honestly, I did feel rejected. And it did sting, because it stings. Well, you be like, you be like, man. But then you start to really look at it. And a lot of the time, the rejection is not rejection. It's more like that particular person, half the time, it's either they always got something else going on that they feel like may be more important, or it's like they're not the person for you, or really what you bring or the type of person that you are, they never deserved in the first place. Like, it's not something that they should have been around. It's not something they should have encountered. It's not something that they were meant to really experience, but, free will, and we all kind of make our own choices anyway. So, if you choose to have somebody and, you choose to stick with it, which is nothing wrong with that as well.
Right.
I never, ever, ever have told anyone, like, oh, you shouldn't be in a relationship or nothing like that, because I'm one of the people that you meet and that's always single. And, like, people always like, oh, why you always single? But, I don't, I never, talk about their relationships or talk about what they should do. I feel like people should do what's best for them. But, yes, that's how, basically dealing with rejection. I just analyzed the situation and realized that it was never going to be what was good for me. It was never going to serve me in the highest way that it could. It was never going to be for my highest good. So at the end of the day, did I really lose, or is it really rejection, or is it protection in a form? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like that.
Right. It's the initial sting. I had to deal with the initial sting, but then I was like, wait a minute. It's not my loss. It's his loss. And I was like, and it's time for me to go. I've spent 27 years of my life, and that's all you get. And so I left and moved on. But I thank God that God gave me the strength. He sent 4 prophets to me, and I was prophesied to 4 different times in different ways. And then the Lord led me straight to the evidence. So I thank God for that. I thank God for having you here on tonight, because when you're talking about self-love, I've dealt with so many women since I've left that didn't have the courage to leave a undesirable relationship, or leave even friendships. Sometimes we overlook things because, oh, this is my friend, this is my girlfriend.
Right.
She wouldn't be, right. She would not like me, or she wouldn't be doing something against me. And so it was a time for me to reflect on everything. It is, who is around me? Are they for me? And if they are not, okay, do I need to leave? Do I need to move on or around? And so I love, I love the fact that you did that self-evaluation. And I think that we all need to do self-evaluation, like if not quarterly or biannually, at least annually,
Yeah, that's true. Believe it or not, too, there's a lot of men that do not. Like, they do not love themselves like they think they do. Like, they do not, so... Because it just pours over, and you can see, okay, no, you don't. But I think a lot of people find it hard to let go of relationships. So you're not alone. I think it's commendable to be with somebody anyway, longer than the lifespan of a person, Yeah. So I think that's a big deal, regardless, so. Yes. Yeah.
I come from, my parents are still together, so that right there made me want to, work that much harder, because not only are my parents together, and it's been 59 years, but their parents, my grandparents on both sides of my family, they were both married for over 50 years. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's a lot of, longevity, and to go around that, you strive to do the same things, that your family does, even if you don't even think that you're doing it.
Right. That's true.
So right now, I want to give you the opportunity to tell everyone how to get a hold of your books. If you'll give the names of your books again, and I'll give you another opportunity just before we close out again. But I want everyone, if you just joined us, you're listening to the Made to Lead Millions podcast. We are here talking to veteran author, amazing, phenomenal woman from Miami, Florida, that has 5 phenomenal books. And so go ahead and give them how to get Mahogany Clark, that's who we're talking to, how to get your books, the names of them, and how they can reach you.
Yes. So my books are all available on Amazon. They do pop up in other places. I've seen my books pop up in Walmart and like other different reading websites that people get on, Kindle, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they're all available if you search them on Amazon. You can really type in my name, Mahogany Clark, MAHOGANYCLARK, Mahogany Clark. And my other book, all my books should pop up. But for the names, the first one is called Self Love,
Mm-hmm.
and the second one is called A Cup of Family Tea.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is called 4 Ways to Market Your Book, Product, and Services. And the next one, that was my fourth one, but the next one is Somebody Always Loves You. That's a children's book. And
Mm-hmm.
my new one that releases July 1st is called Self Love Now. And the ways to reach me, on Instagram, Twitter, and even you should be able to search it on Facebook as well.
Okay.
My tag name is Mahogany Writes with a Z, so it'd be MAHOGANYWRITEZ. So
Okay.
Mahogany Writes. Yep. And then as far as Facebook, it's my original name, Mahogany Clark, and YouTube as well, also Mahogany Clark.
Okay, excellent, excellent. That is great, and I just really appreciate you, coming on here and sharing a little bit about you and your story, and I enjoy the fact that you're like, oh, I've never been asked that. So even answering the hard questions, I appreciate that. Now, with this book launch, is it going to be online, or are you going to do any kind of book signings?
No, I didn't plan on doing one for this one per se, but it will be online.
Okay.
I am going to announce it online, and make sure everybody knows. Or I've been making sure this whole time, but I'm definitely going to do the launch online.
Okay, excellent, great. Well, I love it, and when the thing about books, they are endless, and I remember the title of my book, Made to Lead Millions. I kind of argued with God. I was like, God, I don't have 1 million followers, and God was like, write the book. But God, I didn't have a problem doing the Bible study, but write the book. And so what advice would you give a fellow author out there about getting their story, their message out?
Yes. So this one, I would say, well, first, naturally, I know everybody's different, but for me, when I write books, it comes from somewhere. It comes from like within. It comes from my heart. It comes from a thought that I like, it really like that I got about it. Like, it's a feeling, it's almost like, how we have intuition as people. It is a feeling like, okay, this is something I should do. I should write a new book. Like, you just get the feeling for it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that. So it's natural. It's not something that you should need to force, but I mean, I know people can also, sometimes people just creative enough to just, come up with things. So there's nothing wrong with that either. But I know people get writer's block.
Mm-hmm.
So to avoid that, or don't feel so bad about it, because everything doesn't just come all the time. So it's mostly natural. And then also, if you want to get your story out there, you just decide what kind of book you want to go for. You come up with the idea, the title. Then you come up with what you want it to look like. I've actually always started with the covers and the title first. I don't know why I do it that way. Everybody does it differently, but sometimes people write the book first and then come up with the title and stuff.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I would say that everybody's journey is different, so you don't have to. You can always look out for advice, or especially now with the way the internet is, you can find pretty much everything on the internet. But your journey may be different. The way that you come about creating your book may be different. The way that you put it together may be completely different. You may stumble across something new. The way that you even promote your book may be completely different. So I would say to somebody who wants to get their story out there, to get your story out there in your own way. It's okay, too, to also, of course, have a mentor, or if you prefer a mentor, but however you want to get your story out there, get it out there. It'll be your journey, basically, even though we're all alike or we're all doing the same things, but it'll be your own journey.
Yes.
That's
yes. Now, has it ever been hard as an author, because I know you're a speaker as well, has it ever been hard for you to tell your story or a piece of your story?
Sometimes it does become difficult. I've noticed that, with this new book, and they bringing about me having to bring up the past about my other books. Because like I said, when I wrote a couple of them, I wasn't in a happy space. And even this one, I've had some moments where I was not. I had to kind of dig into some deep spaces. So sometimes it is hard to touch on different things, but I still do it because I'm a transparent person naturally, so I don't have too much of an issue with sharing. But it is like sometimes you kind of pause for a second a little bit with this some places. Yeah.
And I think as a speaker, because I'm a speaker, I'm a preacher, and so you evolve, and the more you're able to, tell your story or pieces of your story, then it helps each time. You get stronger and stronger, and just like when you wrote your book, you were writing it, but it was also healing to you. And the same thing happens when you're a speaker. You're speaking it, and then there's healing that comes to you and to the listener. So as a speaker, how can you give some of the topics that people may want to invite you to speak about?
Yes. So I did recently do an interview, and I got some really great questions. It was on the Faith Room, and some really great questions from the viewers, because it was a live one on the internet, and people were asking questions in the comments. And I got some really, really great questions. Like one was a good one that I got was basically how do you decide that, like, how do you love yourself even though there's people in your life that you're close to that you care about? How do you still, like, love yourself and choose yourself through having to let go of, the people that are, like, closest to you? So that was a really good question. That was a really good topic to talk about.
That is.
Well, and then, yeah. And then another one, it was a few. I know too. Also, because I did talk about my childhood, I touched on that as well. That also a topic about, basically one person brought up a topic of how it affects your children when, different people are coming and going, different, partners are coming and going. It depends on how you grew up, or, like basically growing up watching your parents not have the best relationship. How does it affect you as a child or, into adulthood? That was a good topic as well. That was a good one. And then also another one was how do you stay disciplined between, being single? Because people, naturally, or as humans, we do want to be with other people. Sometimes maybe it could be because everybody else is doing it, but still, or because it's just the way that the world is working. How do you stay, true to yourself in those moments of, it's probably been a minute, or you might actually like somebody, but they're not a good fit in the long run. So that was another good topic. Like, how do you stay true to yourself on that, and how do you, continue to stay focused and continue to, at least if you do indulge, continue, how do you weed out what's not for you? That was a good topic.
Yeah. Those are excellent topics. Those are excellent things. And people need to know, hey, I want her to come. I want her book, and that can put you in places on platforms, on panels. So, definitely when we're in an age where now they're recognizing mental health, self-love should be right up there, at the top of the category. So
Right.
if y'all are looking for a speaker, y'all make sure that y'all reach out to Mahogany Clark. She's a speaker, she's an author, and she's a veteran. And so before we leave, go ahead and give your information again, how they can get your book, the fact that your next book will be released July 1st, and go ahead and give the names of your books. Y'all make sure that you go out and get her books today, right now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mahogany. Give us that information one more time before we leave.
Yes, one more time for Amazon, which is where all of my books are available. If you search up my name, Mahogany Clark, MAHOGANYCLARK, all my books will pop up. And also, the names of them is Self-Love, A Cup of Family Tea, Somebody Always Loves You, 4 Ways to Market Your Book, Product, and Services. And then the last one that releases July 1st is Self-Love Now. They're all available on Amazon. And my tag name for Twitter, Instagram is Mahogany Writes with a Z. So MAHOGANYWRITEZ. And my Facebook is Mahogany Clark, and my YouTube is Mahogany Clark.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, extraordinaires, for hanging in there and listening to all the great information. Make sure you hit me back every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're right here as a part of Positive Power 21 Media Family with none other than our great producer, Jerry Royce, alive. And so again, I am Coach Krystal Henry. Lady Mahogany Clark, thank you for all your wisdom, your ideas, and I pray that the Lord blesses you with favor, and that you sell 1 million copies of all your books. So may the Lord watch between me and thee while we're apart one from another. And until next time, I'll see y'all extraordinaires later. Bye. God bless.
You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hi, I'm Al Costa. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. You're listening to Jerry Royce Live Podcast. Best international radio station in the whole wide world.
Hello, my name is C, and I am a recording artist from Rwanda in Africa. You're listening to the best internet radio station in the USA with Jerry Royce Live and Positive Power 21.